These are all animals that are about to be eaten. Whether they were being sold at a grocery store or even sold as bait, I decided instead of being somebody's next meal, I buy them and turn them into my pet. My goal here was to rehabilitate them back to full health, but most of the animals I bought were about to die, and if not, they were already dead. At the end of the day, these animals are being sold as food, and the enclosures they put them in are not suitable for these guys to live for very long. These are all animals that I've rescued in the past, but I decided to make a movie with all of them combined. So sit back and enjoy, as the first video we're gonna watch is about a blue crab that I bought from a bin. This is my blue crab that I just bought from the grocery store. Usually this type of crab is sold at a grocery market as food to eat. But the real question is, can I even save this crab as my pet, and will it survive? Because the crabs that are being sold right now are either dead or they're barely even alive. They live on the east part of the USA, which is nowhere near me, so this is definitely gonna be a challenge. The place I went to get the crabs was this Asian market. They have a few other creatures for sale like the spider crab, but I wasn't after this guy because I was here for the blue crabs. Most of the ones I saw had little to no energy and not really moving that much. It might be because there's no water, although blue crabs can stay out of water for about 24 hours. So I tried to grab one of the crabs, but he wouldn't let go.
Oh, hell no, man. What the?
So I grabbed one of these plastic bags that they had for free, and I picked out a very lucky crab. But for this little guy, I am going to name him Mr. Krabs. Oh my god. Guys, my fingers smell like literal butthole.
Oh my god.
So I went up to the cash register to purchase Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs ended up being about $5. But now it's good to say that I basically saved this crab from getting eaten. Okay guys, we have arrived back at the car. We just got a blue crab, but by the looks of it, he doesn't look like he is moving very much. Look how sad he is. Let's get him out of the bag. Yo! First of all, obviously he is not moving. So right now he's in a very low health situation right now. At the top of his shell, it looks like there's no cracks or anything. But if we flip him over, we could actually see that he's lost one of his legs. This isn't terrible, but he'll grow his leg back in a few months. So before I came here, I got water from the actual tank of where he's gonna go inside of. I didn't fill it up all the way. There's about an inch or two of water. So we're gonna go ahead and put him inside of the water. The reason why I didn't put that much water in was because I wanted to slowly acclimate him back to the feeling of water. But if you look closely, you can see bubbles coming out of his mouth. This is actually just air escaping his lungs and replacing it with water. Okay guys, so we're about 25 minutes away from home. We're just gonna leave him in the cooler in the meantime, and I'll see you guys when we get back to the house. Okay, we arrived home now. All right guys, moment of truth. What is he doing in there? So if you've noticed, he's actually not bubbling anymore. It's probably because all the air is out of his lungs. It smells terrible. It smells like a rotten crab in there. All right, we're gonna go ahead and bring this inside now. Okay, so we're now going to have to acclimate Mr. Krabs. So I'm gonna have to remove this water, and then I'm going to slowly pour the fish tank water on top of him. So to extract the water, I gotta take Mr. Krabs out. Oh! Yo! Oh my.
Hell no, man. What the fuck?
Oh my god. Alright, you're getting the net.
Why are you coming first? Why the fuck you coming first?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I will kill you.
This thing is crazy. It's okay. So I put Mr. Krabs back in the cooler, and it was finally time to start the acclimation process. He did look a little dry, and I know he's really mad, but I think he might have felt bad that he was trying to bite me.
I'm sorry, everybody follow me.
It took about 15 minutes to finish this process until he was fully submerged underwater. While he was sitting in the water, I wanted to give him a little oxygen boost with this aerator. I'm gonna have to leave Mr. Krabs in here with his new air pump for about 10 minutes. But while we're waiting, I'm gonna quickly do a rundown on all the tank requirements required to keep this crab alive. So first off, I'm going to be using this 40-gallon fish tank. Since blue crabs are messy and they poo everywhere, I have to do a very strong filtration system. And for that, it required a sump.
Basically, in these little chambers, there's going to be different types of filters, like these rocks that will actually help break down ammonia. And it was very important to use existing rocks that I had in previous fish tanks, because if you look closely, you can see white little dots. These are the things that actually help break down the ammonia.
Inside this little square right here, I'm going to put a piece of filter floss.
But ultimately, this will help take small particles out of the water and ensure a healthy tank. But for the water, I went to my local canal when it was high tide. At high tide, the freshest water comes in straight from the ocean, so I grabbed about 40 gallons worth. For the substrate, I had this white sand laying around that was from an old fish tank, so I went ahead and put that in. Once all that was completed, I started filling up the fish tank. Ultimately, as the water fills up all the way up to these tubes, it eventually reaches down into our filtration, and then this pump shoots the water back up into the fish tank. So blue crabs, like Mr. Krabs here, enjoy warm tropical water from 70 to 80 degrees. So I got this little heater here to meet those requirements. But now, the whole entire fish tank is done, but it does look very empty. So I went into one of my other fish tanks to take out some rocks.
Oh yeah, guys, take a look at Kevin. Kevin is doing fabulous. I even got him a little friend.
Hello, how are you?
Take this. Okay, so he's been acclimating for about 20 minutes. Wow, he's actually doing really good. Super responsive. Watch this. Ooh. Ooh.
So now he's all done acclimating, and it was time to put him inside of the tank.
Oh my god. We're gonna let him go in 3, 2. Oh my god. You can let go now, little buddy.
Okay, well, it didn't seem like he wanted to leave, but it took like 20 seconds to get him off.
Yo! Oh!
You may have noticed, but they can actually swim with their back legs, which is pretty cool. As Mr. Krabs settles in, you can see that he actually starts digging in the sand. This is something they do when they hide from predators.
Oh, he's kind of stirring up the... No, he's gonna stir up the water.
So Mr. Krabs, he's being a bad boy right now. I honestly wonder what is going through this crab's mind right now, but he's definitely chilling.
Alright guys, so I am going to turn this light off because it might be causing him a little stress right now. And we are going to wait about an hour and then we're gonna see where he's at from there. Okay, it is dark in my room and that is because it is now nighttime. It's been a few hours, let's turn the light on.
Currently, he's lodged in between two rocks, but I can't tell if he's actually doing okay. But for right now, I'm just gonna be watching him on how he acts, see if he has any energy at all, or if he dies, I'll just eat him. But I'm just kidding, that's not gonna be the case. Mr. Krabs right here was the luckiest one that got chosen out of the bin, so he's basically the chosen one.
Yep. Back at it.
So since Mr. Krabs has been caught and transported, he's probably really hungry, because that whole process probably takes days to complete. But obviously, if he hasn't eaten in a really long time, he could die. So I went in my freezer and got him this tiny piece of fish.
But this is definitely one of a blue crab's favorite foods, so let's see if he'll eat this. Going in.
So I wiggle it in front of him to see if he can pick up a scent. And there's a little response.
Ooh.
But finally, this happens.
Ooh! He got it! Yo! He knows that it's food.
At last, his first meal in probably like a week. I've always thought how weird these guys' mouths are, and kinda looks like a bionicle. I'm gonna let Mr. Krabs enjoy his meal right now, and I'm hoping he'll eat the whole entire thing.
Guys, look what I just found.
Bruh, his leg came off.
The thing about these blue crabs is that they can drop their legs just like how a lizard can drop its tail. I'm really not sure, but it could be because of one of these anemones.
Look, the leg was about right there, and take a look. There's an anemone.
So good thing is he pretty much finished his food, but here's the thing. When I was recording this video, I had to travel for about 3 days, so that means I wouldn't be able to see Mr. Krabs for the next 3 days. But I was fairly confident that I can leave him alone because he's gotten food to eat, clean water, and the right temperature. These blue crabs actually have an ability to survive several weeks to a few months without food. But at the same time, I wasn't confident if he would do good or bad. So 3 days has passed, and this happened. Alright guys, I literally just got back from my trip, and yeah, some pretty bad news here. I just walked in here and I can like smell that he died. Well, I really don't know what happened to him, and you can see that there's like white spots even growing on him.
God, guys, it really does smell really bad in here.
So now that this has all happened, I wanted to do something special for Mr. Krabs.
Okay, so to honor Mr. Krabs, I want to do something special for him.
So there's this thing, after you pass away, you could actually become a tree. Yes, you get put inside of the sack, and as you age, nutrients get released and the plant grows because of it.
I'm going to be doing kind of the same thing here, but instead of a tree, I'm actually going to give him this basil plant.
So I put Mr. Krabs in his new plant box and covered him with gravel. This basil plant has actually grown a lot, and that's perfectly fine, but we're just gonna put it on top of him now. In honor of Mr. Krabs, he's now a basil plant. So the next animal we're going to be saving is Kevin the lobster. The other day I was walking in the grocery store and saw these tanks filled with these gigantic lobsters. Now these are the same lobsters that you can actually purchase yourself to eat. But in my home I had this very empty looking tank. And yes, it looked very sad and lonely. So I came up with an idea. Instead of someone eating one of these lobsters, I buy one and raise it as one of my pets. Now, I'm just curious if I can actually do this because these lobsters look like they're pretty much dead. So I'm basically buying a dying lobster. So if you want to order anything, you have to ask this fish guy. And I asked for a small lobster. And he gave me a really big one, so I asked for a smaller one.
Smaller? Like this big?
So I pointed to this small lobster that would be a perfect size for the tank. And then he just drops it and then he walks away. Like, come on, bruh. He then proceeds to grab about 5 more lobsters and then chucks them into this bin. So I guess he gave me a bunch of options to choose from, so I chose the smallest one he gave me.
This one? Have a good day.
Insert cash or select payment type. Use PIN pad to complete.
Oh my god, guys. We just got a lobster. Choose $25. $25 for a lobster. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. He's not really moving. He's limp. We're gonna put him in this water. Water is still very cold for my fish tank. Alright, I'm gonna take him out of the bag. He's actually big as hell.
We got a lobster.
Alright, we gotta get him inside. I'm gonna name him Kevin. This lobster is really big. This was like the smallest one they had though.
On the drive home, I brought this cooler for him to stay in. It does have cold water in here because that's what they like to live in the wild.
Uh-oh. Oh my god.
Oh, hell no.
Left this. Oh my god. What is that?
Brother, what's that?
Why did I
What's
put it on
that,
my
brother?
car seat? If you guys know what that is, please let me know. I don't know if it was like blood or anything, because I know he was like chucking them inside of that gray bin. Let's check on him before we start driving.
I mean, I didn't really expect him to do much, but he twitched.
Oh, he just twitched. All right, we're gonna head home right now. It is about a 25-minute drive home, so he should be okay right now. He's inside of the cooler with the cold water. The only thing I'm really worried about was that like little period blood looking stain.
While I was driving, I wanted to check the water color to see if any of that blood stuff leaked in the water, but luckily the water was clear.
All right, guys, we just arrived home. Let's go ahead and take a look at him. Moment of truth. Well, I'll tell you what, he does not seem to be moving. Oh, he's got a little life in him. We gotta bring him home as quick as we can now. Let's go. All right, we are in my room right now. First thing we need to do is take water out of this tank and acclimate our lobster.
This process of acclimation is basically just easing him up to the water that's in the tank.
Ooh.
Oh, look at that reaction. Oh my.
Oh my god. Oh my god. As you can see, he has 2 rubber bands on this side and 1 on this side. I assume they put 2 rubber bands on this side because this claw is gigantic. I mean, look at that. This lobster is like pretty big in general. So let's cut.
I then had to see if he had any damage.
You can see his big claw is like missing a portion of it.
I'm not sure what happened, but there's a chunk of his claw missing. But along with both claws, you can see the marks that the rubber bands made, but definitely not bad at all. But overall, Bob 2's health is, I would say, mediocre.
If you can see this water, it's a little bit red. I assume that's like that stuff that was on my chair.
But in the meantime, I'll be continuing the acclimation process by scooping this water on top of him.
So while he's acclimating, I got this little aerator. This will just put oxygen in the water. So I poured enough water in here to fully cover our lobster. So I'm gonna let him sit in here for about 5-ish minutes, and then we're gonna put him inside of our tank.
Yes, this tank is too small, but I'm going to upgrade in the future.
Moment of truth. You can see he's kind of moving just a little bit. Let's go ahead and bring him. Oh yeah, he's definitely very lively.
In this point in time, I realized that this is the beginning of the rehabilitation of Kevin.
Oh my god.
But now, inside of this tank, hopefully Kevin can slowly regain his health and become as strong as he once was.
Oh my god.
I think Kevin got lonely and tried making friends with the abalone, so I just let them be and I decided to check up on him 30 minutes later.
Boy, if you don't get your squiggly diggly head.
Yo, who in the crib have a pet lava cuz?
Well, basically, Kevin did good all day, but it was time for me to go to bed now.
I just woke up and there's always something wrong, huh?
Well, if you didn't notice, you can't even see through the tank.
Okay, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna have to set up another tank temporarily because I cannot have him in this tank. It's too murky.
Since that whole situation happened, I'm gonna have to put Kevin inside of this tank for now. I had to go to the store to get some pea pebbles, and then I had to wash them off. So I'm gonna be filling this tank up with salt water. I got this from the ocean, but to make this super simple, I connected this hose from the trash can all the way to the fish tank. At the end of the tube, there's a pump, so I plugged it in.
Very nice. Okay, in the meantime, while that tank's getting filled up, I'm going to take a lobster out and put him inside of this bin.
The only problem I had is that I had no clue where he was in this water, but I eventually found him. As you can see, there's a lot going on here, but I basically just refilled his tub with fresh salt water, and I connected a water chiller to it so the water stayed cold.
Okay guys, I just set his new home up. So we got the water chiller, it's chilling the water right now, it's almost to temp. We have these wave makers to create current, and then we have this big canister filter to filter this water. Alright, so the temperature is finally up to par.
So Kevin has been waiting very patiently, and it was finally time to put him inside.
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
Look at him! Look at him, look at him! So about 5 minutes in, and he's actually not really moving that much. But I decided to just give him some time and turned his light off, and then I walked away. By the time I got back, I could definitely tell that he was looking a lot better. Most of the time, I just saw him walking around, or he was looking around. But as of right now, I know that he hasn't eaten anything in a very long time. I know he's hungry because he comes up to the window and asks me for food.
Yeah, boy.
So I went inside of my fridge and got him a little snack.
He's squirming.
What the hell?
1v1 worm versus lobster. Look how long. Oh, he just got him. He just got him. Oh. He's eating him. He's getting molested. Oh, he's molesting him.
Well, good news is Kevin has gotten his first meal.
Look at that. He's chow. Oh, he's cut in half.
So these types of lobsters actually love to hide in rocks, but as a quick alternative, I got him this bucket for now. I basically just set it inside of the gravel, and then I decorated it with some rocks and to also help keep it in place.
Okay, so he now has a little cave. He can go ahead and climb in there if he'd like, but he just hasn't explored over there yet.
So as he was chilling, I actually got a close-up look at his claw. That is definitely a lot of wear and tear on this claw, but when he turned around, I also saw these weird little patches on his back. But the good thing is he can actually fix all these scars with a process called molting. Molting basically just gives them a fresh shell, and on top of that they also get a little bit bigger. So my question still remains if I can actually rehabilitate Kevin back to full health. But our progress so far has been successful as Kevin is showing signs of better health. Plus he got a nice little worm to snack on. But in the next video we are going to be saving fiddler crabs and turning them into our pet. This is my pet fiddler crab, Jerry. But Jerry was actually supposed to be fishing bait. That is because I bought them at my local fishing store, but when I walked in, I wasn't planning on buying them as bait. I was planning on raising these fiddler crabs as my pet. But online, nobody really seemed to keep these crabs as pets. This made me think there was no way I could keep them alive. But to test that, I built them a perfect little home with everything they need. So to start this journey, I went to my local fishing store and looked for live bait. Sometimes they have other types of bait, but these crabs are going to be the lucky batch. After I drove them home, I put them inside of this box, but let's see what we got. Yo. Oh my god, that one's huge. Oh no. Is this one alive? I think some died. Alright, I'm gonna empty them out and count how many there are. In total, I counted 10 fiddler crabs, but the sad part is 4 of them were dead. What made me think that these guys died was the process of actually catching them. When you catch them, a technique people use is sticking a stick inside of their hole. This traps them so they can't go back in the hole, but with our fellow crabs, I assume that these guys probably got stabbed by the stick. These guys are not going to go to waste because they're going to be food for my pet fish. Oh! Alright guys, so I'm gonna get the rest of our crabs and put them inside of my temporary tank that I have just made them. Inside this tank has mud from their natural environment, but I also added a few pieces of wood that they can hide under. These guys will only be in here for about 1 to 2 days, but in the meantime, we are going to construct their new home. Alright guys, this is the tank that we're going to be using. This is about a 29-gallon tank, but if you look closely, this thing's got stains and dirt everywhere. So I went ahead and cleaned them up. I'm also going to be putting this on a metal fish tank stand, so let's go ahead and assemble that. Time to put the tank on. Alright guys, so we just finished up our little base, but the next step that we have to do is very important. The first step is adding our substrate. Basically, the substrate is the bottom layer of the tank. First, our gravel will go on the bottom layer. This is also where the water is going to be, so this will act as a good little barrier for the mud. So now on top of the gravel goes their burrowing substrate, but this isn't any ordinary mud. This mud came from a wild marshland that I found. Ooh. Over here, wild fiddler crabs roam around in this habitat. You can see that this one's a pretty big one right here. Ow! The little guy just got my finger. So back to the video, I collected about a bucket of this mud. But the special thing about this substrate is the resources it carries. Lingering inside is detritus. This is basically microalgae and beneficial bacteria. The good thing about going down this route is the fact that I don't have to cycle the tank. Alright guys, so I got all the dirt in, and now this is where the fun part is. We're going to be hand shaping our mud to make it look exactly how it looks like in the wild. I also made sure there's enough mud for them to burrow. About 6 or 7 inches of mud is perfect. Alright guys, so this is what we have as of now, and I'm going to clean off these scuff marks on the glass so it looks a little bit better. And as you can see, it's all cleaned up now, but the next step is to add our filtration. And since we don't have that much water to filter, I just got this small internal filter. This filter is rated for 2.5 to 5 gallons of water, so this will be perfect. As you can see, I made a small little section for the filter to go in, just because there's gonna be a low amount of water. These fiddler crabs love warm weather, so we're gonna make the water about 78 degrees. So I installed the heater and then covered it with some rocks to hide it. So our next step to completing the tank is adding a light. Here I'm installing an LED light that I bought from Amazon. This light is in charge of the land area. Alright, nice. So we just finished the light. Now the last step that we need to do is add the water. To make sure I got everything from the same environment, I went to the local canal and picked up some water. The water over here is kind of brackish, so I'm sure they'll love this water. So here I'm putting the water in, but only to a certain level. These crabs spend only about 20% of their life in the water, so I'm only filling it up to this line. So to start filtering the water, I turned on the water filter. So this tank has only been running for about 2 days now, but in that time zone, something actually happened inside of our temporary enclosure. Wow, take a look. As you can see, they've already made their own burrow. That is really interesting because that tells me that they can burrow really fast. And just like what they do in the wild, they dig to the water level because that's what keeps them all moist. So back to the tank, it's almost done, but there's actually one more thing that we have to add. Hiding structure.
What is this?
I scavenged the shoreline to find pieces of structure that the crabs can hide in. Most of the items I collected just consisted of stuff that fell from trees. Then I added all of these items into our ecosystem.
Alright guys, this is a decent amount of structure, but most of the time they're going to be using their burrow as their main tunnel.
So now our tank is finally complete, but the next step left me kind of worried.
Alright guys, I'm kind of nervous because I have no clue how I'm going to get them out of the hole.
Luckily, there's a method out here that'll help me catch these crabs.
Alright guys, so I got a little tool here. This is just a stick. As you can see right in the corner, there's a crab. So I'm gonna try to catch him.
Oh shoot, no, he's going
Oh my god, he's huge.
Oh my god.
Alright, I'm gonna have to go in and grab him.
Oh!
Okay guys, I brought a little bucket. I'm gonna put him in here while we catch the other ones.
Oh!
There's a crab right there. We have to catch him. Got him.
After trying to catch the third one, this happened.
No, I was just trying to catch one of the crabs and I grabbed his claw, which I don't think was a very good idea because they have a defense mechanism to drop their claw when threatened.
I then collected the remainder of the crabs.
While they are inside of their bucket, I prepared about 6 pieces of food for them. So let's see if they're gonna eat this. Let's go ahead and put one inside. Oh.
And of course, it didn't seem like they were interested in eating at all. Although I did leave it in here for about 10 minutes to see if they would eat it, but nothing. So I'm deciding I'm just gonna put them inside of their main tank. I assume the reason why they're not eating is probably because they're very stressed out. I watched them roam around for a bit to get an idea where their health level is at. I then decided to turn all the lights off so they can be a little more at peace.
Since they are most likely a little stressed out, but I'm also going to leave my room so I don't scare them or distract them from starting their little burrow to keep them safe. So I'm gonna get back to you guys in a few hours and see what we have then. Guys, I just snuck in here after about an hour, and look, I think they might be starting their own burrow.
It was getting late at the time I was filming, so I thought I'd go to bed and then see where we're at in the morning. It's now day 2 of them being in the tank, and I believe they started their own burrow because they were making a lot of noise last night. I got a few time-lapse shots of them building their burrow, and I even saw Jerry digging out his first burrow. Jerry decided to build his burrow right in the corner of the tank. You can also see his progress as he gets deeper in the hole. In this time period, I counted only 3 holes, as of what I could see. You could tell that they're pretty skilled at making burrows, but Jerry's here, on the other hand, was a bit questionable. For pretty much the whole afternoon, he's been working on his burrow. He got to the point where he dug so far that he even reached the bottom. It's hard to see him, but he's about right here.
So you can see that this burrow no longer has a hole on the top. I'm not really sure why he did this, maybe because he has another entrance somewhere, but it does look like there's another one right next to him.
So at this point, I decided to let them be for the next 2 days. I wanted to give them time to burrow and see what they did in this time period. The next morning, I was looking around and I actually saw a total of 6 burrows. Most of them decided to dig right at the edge of the shore. I assume they wanted to dig here because the mud here was the most moist. You can tell their tunnels are very distinct and well-rounded.
Right along the edges, you could see there's a lot of dirt marks. I assume that's from the crabs walking along the edge. So now that it's been a few days, I want to see if they'll eat. These crabs have not eaten this whole time.
So I decided to give them a little treat, which is a piece of fish. I also added a bunch of new cover, so hopefully this makes them feel safe to come out. So I get my first piece of fish and I put it right next to Jerry's hole. I watched to see if he would get it within the first few minutes, but he didn't get it. So then I decided to leave a piece of fish in front of every hole I saw. So now we gotta wait to see if they'll eat their food.
But about 5 minutes later, we did put a fish in here, but it's now gone. Hopefully Jerry did eat that one, but we're gonna wait for the next day to see if they'll eat the other pieces I gave them. Alright guys, it's the next day. Let's see if they've eaten anything. So it actually looks like some pieces got eaten, but this one hasn't gotten eaten yet. But the thing is, I'm not entirely worried because inside of the substrate, there's lots of decaying eelgrass, seaweed. They love to eat that stuff, so they've probably been gorging themselves on that.
What these crabs have made is pretty impressive. They were supposed to be fishing bait, but a few days later, they've made a whole mini marshland in my room. The next animal we're going to be saving is a rat that was about to be fed to a snake. This venomous snake is about to devour this poor little mouse. That mouse that just got eaten was called a feeder mouse. These guys are raised in these big warehouses and they're basically born to die.
These are ones that have been around for a while.
So being the guy that saves a bunch of exotic pets, I kind of felt bad for these little guys. So this gave me an idea to save one of these mice and make him my pet instead of being fed alive to a snake. So just for a little context, the reason why people feed these snakes live mice is because it's the most nutritious meal for them. Like you wouldn't feed a snake some crickets. But snakes that get this big get fed wabbits.
She's about 25 years old, but she's really large rabbits. We're like 10-pound rabbits.
Hell no.
So next to my house, there's this reptile zoo that sells feeder mice. But inside there's a bunch of cool animals. Right in the entrance they had this lazy river with a bunch of fish and this small little turtle. There's also this big turtle.
Oh my god, bro.
So this guy right here is actually a juvenile white throat monitor lizard, but this is definitely an animal that can be eating mice. But most of the time it's the snakes that are actually eating the rats. A construction boa for $500.
My collar's blue and my neck is red. I've been working like a dog just
In this clip, this is actually the same place I went to with a ton of gigantic snakes. But I didn't get to see inside here the time I was there. But it's now time to buy the feeder rat.
Yes, that is perfect. Thank you so much. Oh my god, guys. We just got a mouse. This mouse was about to be eaten, but now he's in this brown bag. You can hear him like running around in there. Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about. One day you're about to get eaten, and then the next you get saved. And that's exactly what happened to this little guy. Okay, I arrived home, and you might be thinking, where am I gonna put this little guy? Well, I have this tank right here,
Which I thoroughly cleaned and dried out.
So this tank isn't going to be his actual enclosure. This is just going to be temporary. So in the meantime, he's going to be inside here.
And the first thing we need to put inside is some substrate, and for that, I'm just gonna shred up some paper.
Okay, this isn't actually going
It was way too stringy, so I kind of just ripped it up to smaller pieces.
Okay, it's actually looking a little bit better. I mean, this stuff, he can like nibble on it and chew it up, so. I also have a little present for him.
Oh my god.
So I honestly don't think he even knows what this is, but we'll just include it. I also got him this water bowl and a heating mat to keep him warm.
So I put his water on this piece of wood so he wouldn't tip it over. Oh my god, guys. He's literally about to escape.
Oh
my god. Look at.
I kind of wanted to see how long it would take him to escape, so I just did this little time lapse, and you can tell that they absolutely love chewing things.
Oh my god. Yo, he's basically almost out. He just escaped. Oh my god, look at him.
I'm gonna name this little guy Steve.
Alright guys, like I said, this is just going to be a temporary enclosure. He's only going to be in here for about a few hours until we get his actual enclosure built. Yo, he made it in the... Oh.
So while he's nice and cozy, I'm gonna go to the store to buy some materials for his new home. The first item I got was this bag of coconut fiber, which will be his substrate. What I got for him to eat was this mouse and young rat food, just has a bunch of nutrients in it. But next I got him this little water bottle. Then the last item I got was his heat mat to keep him warm. So by the time I got home, he was actually up and active and just exploring.
Guys, look, he's sleeping.
Okay, while he's sleeping, we are going to make his new enclosure.
For his main enclosure, I got him this 30-gallon fish tank. Then using the cocoa fiber stuff, I put down a good amount.
Alright, so I'm putting a decent amount of cocoa fiber in here because they do like to dig sometimes. As you can see, it's very uneven. I'm going to leave it like that. I think it looks cool like that.
These mice like to hide in small little holes, so I got these containers and cut out a small entrance. Then using the dirt, I covered the container so it looks nice.
Alright, so we got a hide here and another one right here. Our little guy's sleeping right now, so I'm actually going to take this away from him. Put this about right there. So it does look a bit bland, so I got this tree and I'm gonna plant him over here in this corner. It looks a lot better already. He is still sleeping, so I'm just gonna go ahead and transfer this. Look at him! He is awake. Okay, so since his enclosure is almost done, I'm gonna take this hide, go ahead and cover that with some dirt. So he's got the two hides there and his warm one right here. You might be wondering, what is he going to be eating? First of all, I got this young rat food. But on top of that, I will be feeding him seeds and vegetables like carrots. Here we 2 pieces.
Now that the base of the tank was finally done, it was time to go get our little buddy.
Okay guys, look at him. He's chilling right on top of the heat mat. He seems friendly. Look at him.
In here, he'll have the freedom to roam around and just explore, which is what I saw him doing. Out of any other pet that I've had, this guy is definitely the most active. I watched him roam around for about 10 minutes, and all I saw him do is inspect his new holes, and I saw him smelling a lot.
Alright, change of plans. This hide right here is going to be the warm hide, only because the cord can only go so far.
So I think I can tell that he's definitely enjoying his new little home because he's just running around and being like very sporadic.
Guys, I think he's mad at me.
If you can look closely, you can see that he has red eyes. I thought this was pretty cool and a little abnormal, so I looked it up, but this is actually a genetic mutation called albinism. But albino people, they don't even have red eyes, so I guess he's special.
Yo, he's digging.
This is actually a very common activity, and they do this to make shelter, raise young, or to store food.
Alright, so I got some leaves that I want to sprinkle around his enclosure. He's interested. He's like, what is that? It's your new leaf. A gift from me.
So by the looks of it, anything new that enters his enclosure, he's definitely very interested to see what it is. This is probably like the first time he's ever seen leaves before, but he seemed more interested in digging out his new home. These mice are very playful and love to run around, so I wanted to go to the store to pick up some toys.
Take a look at this. This is a hamster ball. This is a small animal tunnel. So I guess they can go inside here and eat the stuff inside.
Now that I'm back to the store, let's go see if Steve would love to play with these things.
Apparently he's supposed to just chew out all the stuff that's on the inside and he can run through like the middle of this thing.
As soon as I put it in, he was definitely interested in it and went right up to it.
Caught in 4K.
It's been about an hour. Let's go check on his piece of wood.
Ooh, okay, well, first of all, you can see a bunch of hay that has been eaten off. He's still got a lot of work to do. Okay, this is his second toy. It's a hamster ball. Pretty classic. So apparently, if you put a mouse in here, you can let it roam free and it won't like escape anywhere that you couldn't reach him. So we're gonna go ahead and try this out and bring him outside so he can roam free. I feel like this is torture. Let's see if we can trap him. Small piece of food. Oh yeah, you like that? Well, you can go get it.
Oh. Yes, we got him.
Guys, I have an idea.
Okay, let's see if he rolls around.
What the heck?
Okay guys, this is literally torture. I'm just gonna let him go back in his home. Was that fun? You can have your piece of food.
The next creature we're saving is actually a crab that I bought from a local fisherman. Today, I'm at my local fishing pier in Huntington Beach. On this pier are local fishermen who fish here every day to catch food for themselves and their families. But as I saw the fish they caught, I started to feel kind of bad, and then I got this wild idea. What if I waited for someone to catch something and offer to buy it and turn him into my pet? And you might be thinking, how is anything going to survive? Because most fishermen here are pretty rough with their catches. Well, that's for us to find out, so we begin looking for our first animal. Sadly, it looks like this fish has died, so he's probably going to be dinner. There's a lot more fishermen up ahead, so we're probably going to get a better chance of finding something we can keep as a pet. But in the next bucket, I also saw another fish. This guy looked like he was on the verge of death, so he was probably too far gone to keep as a pet. I also found some more fishermen up ahead, so I asked them if they caught anything.
Any luck?
I got one, man.
One?
Yeah.
What is that? Is that croaker? I've been looking around for like 30 minutes. Nobody is catching like anything right now.
But next, something extraordinary happens. As I was about to ask this guy if he caught anything, this guy behind me actually hooks up to something.
Yo, this guy has one right here. Oh my god, he just got a crab. He just got a crab.
Oh my god, is that a crab, dude?
Yeah, I just caught this. I was planning on eating this tonight.
Oh, you're gonna eat it? Well, do you think I could buy it off of you? I got like 10 bucks. I could buy it for 10 bucks.
Yeah, I mean, I was planning on eating this, but I guess $10 can work, yeah. I mean, $10 is all right, but I mean, that's not even gonna get me a Chipotle bowl, but I'll take it.
Well, $10 for the crab seems like a good deal to me.
All right, thanks, man.
I'm gonna have to leave the crab right here for a second, and then we're gonna fill this bucket up with water.
Right now in the summer, it's pretty hot, so him laying on the concrete was drying him out pretty quick. These guys can easily become heat stressed, or it was because he got slammed on the ground.
I just got a crab. He's not really moving that much.
I decided I gotta quickly go back to my truck, but it is a 30-minute drive home, which means I gotta be prepared. Here I have an ice pack, which will keep the water at 63 degrees. These crabs require cold water, so hopefully this will help revive him. So now I'm putting him inside of the cooler here, and honestly, he still doesn't really look like he's moving that much. But to help revive this crab, I've got an aerator. This just puts a lot of oxygen inside of the water, but hopefully this will give him a little boost.
All right, so I'm thinking we're gonna give this crab a name, and since he was actually going to be dinner, I'm deciding I'm gonna call him Crab Louie. Crab Louie is actually a famous dish that people eat. Anyways, we're gonna start heading home now, and we'll be home in about 30 minutes.
So now I got home and I gotta transfer everything inside of my room.
So we're inside of my room right now, and I'm gonna take a quick temperature check of the water.
The temperature that it's hitting right now at 63 is a perfect temperature for him.
So I'm really not sure how Louie is feeling right now. So I'm going to get him a little piece of fish, see if he'll eat that. All right, guys, our bait is finally unthawed. Let's go ahead and grab a piece of fish and see if he'll eat.
Well, he didn't eat, but I wouldn't expect him to after all the stuff he's gone through today. Now, obviously, he's not living in this cooler, so I'm going to show you how I made his new home. I actually found his tank on Facebook Marketplace. When I picked it up, it was actually really dirty. There was a bunch of black stuff and clear stuff stuck to the wall and glass shards everywhere. But I still did end up taking it anyways. I drove it home, then brought it inside to start cleaning. But since the tank was covered with dried man-made glue, the razor tool would be the best to scrape it off. And since that's all taken care of now, the next step is one of the most important, and that is to check for any leaks, which I did not find any. So now that we know our tank is all good, we can start putting together Louie's new home. But the first item we're getting are live rocks. Louie needs a lot of hiding places to keep his stress levels down. These guys were actually $14 a pound, pretty much $300 for rocks and sand. But it's all gonna be worth it because it's for Louie's home.
So the next thing we have to add to our tank is a filter and a water chiller.
So the reason why we need a water chiller is because these crabs like the temperature at 63 to 65 degrees. And the filter basically just filters for debris. But the next step we're gonna do now is to add our substrate. The sand I'm pouring in right now has a bunch of beneficial bacteria, and then we're gonna start spreading the sand around and adding all of our rocks. So the tank has been sitting at 65 degrees for the past few days, so we're gonna acclimate Louie to the temperature of his fish tank. He's basically going to be sitting in this bucket for about 20 minutes.
Let's go ahead and grab him. Ooh! Oh my god, he looks like an alien. Oh! Oh my god.
And now we finally got him inside, and he seems to be calmed down just a little bit. So if you look closely, there's water getting pushed out of his mouth. That means he's just breathing. So I decided to take a little step back and let him be for the remainder of the time, and I'll get back once he's done acclimating.
Alright guys, so it's been about 20 minutes, and it's now time to put Louie inside of his tank. So before I fully put him in, I want to check his health and see if there's any cracks on him from when he fell on the concrete, and if he has any missing legs or anything I should be worried about. Okay, well, his health is actually really good. Inspecting his legs, I don't see any legs that are gone. He honestly looks pretty good health, so we're gonna put him inside of his tank. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yo! So the bubbles that are actually coming off of him, that is the air escaping his lungs.
I gave him a couple minutes to get settled in, and it seemed like he started digging. This is what they do to hide from predators.
So I'm gonna leave him be for quite a while. You know, he's pretty stressed out. I just want to give him time to settle into his new tank, and I guess we'll see from there.
So I just sat down and watched him for the remainder of the day, just to kind of get an idea on how he's doing. Some parts of the day actually left me worried because he was just sitting here and not moving at all. So in that instance, I decided to see if they were nocturnal, which maybe that could be the reason why he's not moving that much, but it says they are actually primarily nocturnal. So what that basically means is that during the day, he's actually sleeping, and at night, that's when he's awake. So I thought it was a good idea to give him a whole nother day and then come back when it's nighttime, and this will give him time to de-stress. This is what I saw when it hit midnight.
Yo.
So this is what he looked like the first time we put him in his tank, and now he just looks like he's full of energy. So at this point, since I know he's kind of up and running, you know we gotta try to feed him. This is bits of fish. I'm gonna use a pair of tweezers to lower a piece of fish down and see if he'll eat.
Alright, lowering.
Oh my god! Yo! Oh, he hungry! Oh my god, he is munching on that thing. Holy.
So that looked like he was really hungry.
Wow, so he actually finished that whole entire piece. So I'm just gonna get another piece and see if he'll eat another one.
Ooh! Yo!
Damn, this guy is actually really hungry. I gave him 2 pieces already and he finished both. So I'm gonna give him another piece here. Let's see if how he'll react to this.
Ooh, let's go!
Well, this is actually really good news. He's a lot more comfortable with his tank now, and he's eating good. So in the next video we're watching, I actually saved a turtle. He wasn't necessarily going to be food, but he was being sold in cheap, tiny bins at an illegal street vendor. Today, I traveled to one of LA's most famous pop-up shops in Santee Alley to search for small booths like this, illegally selling animals like birds, snakes, and a lot more. Alright guys, there's a lot to unpack in this video, and we got an hour drive ahead of us right now. The thing is about these vendors, they're just trying to make like a quick buck, you know? They might not care about the animals themselves, and they treat them like any other product that makes them money. About an hour later, we arrive in LA. In these alleys, people usually sell clothing, jewelry, and obviously a lot more. At this point, I've been searching for about 2 hours and I haven't found anything animal related, and I've had zero luck. I honestly was about to give up until I finally found one. Here and behold, a random guy selling a bird, a snake, tortoises, and a pile of lettuce, and a lot of baby turtles. I was honestly blown away of this variety, and I know it was kind of hard to see, but they also had a baby chameleon. And with a little negotiating, I got him down to $15 for one baby turtle.
Yo, we just got our baby turtle, bruh. Alright, we're gonna name him Taquisha. Wait, what's he looking at? Oh!
I'm not sure how Taquisha is feeling right now, but all I know is that his water is really cold. So luckily, I've been heating up water in this bin.
Let's go ahead and put Taquisha in. So this is an old enclosure. This water is really cold, and when they're kept in cold enclosures like this, it actually makes them get sick really easy. We're gonna head back home now, and I'll see you guys in about an hour. Alright guys, we finally arrived. Let's take a look at him. Oh, ooh, he looks like he's doing good. So I actually turned this aerator off about halfway because I thought it was scaring him a little. But now that we're home, I'm actually going to take him out and put him back in this enclosure. Water out. And then I'll fill some of this in. Okay guys, we're gonna go ahead and bring him inside now. Alright guys, we are finally home. Taquisha made it back home. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, but
either way, we gotta get Taquisha out of this container because it's very stressful for him.
The thing is, right now I do not have a tank to put Taquisha in. So temporarily, while we work on his new dream enclosure, I got him this little bin so he'll have a lot more space in this tiny little container. I'm also going to need a few supplies to put him in here, so I have a UVB bulb, ignore the stain, a filter, heater, and an air pump. So I'm gonna start filling this thing up with water, and then we're gonna set everything up.
To add oxygen and a little bit of water flow, I put this sponge filter in. And to make sure the water gets to their preferred temperature, I put this water heater in. These types of turtles spend about 90% of their life in the water, but for the other 10%, they like to lay in the sun, so I got this grate for them to lay on. Half an hour later, the temperature was up to spec. So the next step is to acclimate Taquisha to the conditions of his temporary home. This process is gonna take about 30 minutes.
Alright guys, it's finally time to get Taquisha in his new temporary home.
Before I put him in, this type of turtle is called a red-eared slider. It's one of the most common turtles you'll see in a pond, but they actually are invasive. I'm not sure how long he's been in that little container, but after all this time, he finally got somewhat of a bigger home. One of the problems I found about this tub was that he'll go in this corner and fall in. If he does this when I'm not there, he could possibly drown. So I got him this big platform rock instead, and it definitely looks like he enjoys it. One thing that stood out to me was whenever I was present, the turtle actually got really scared and started tweaking. I don't know if this was normal, but maybe the street vendor didn't take care of him very well and he was scared of humans. So we're gonna do an upgrade from this small tiny looking tank, and we're gonna turn it into a 30-gallon fish tank.
Alright guys, to start Taquisha's new home, first gotta put some substrate, which is the bottom.
I bought these pea pebbles from Home Depot and I just cleaned them off. Now that the first step of the tank is complete, another requirement to keep these guys healthy is a basking spot. These guys definitely enjoy getting sun, and it even helps grow their shell. So I made them a slab that'll heat up nicely under the heat bulb. And to add a little more structure and hiding spots, I placed down 3 big rocks. I also got him a turtle god to help him through this time. Taquisha will be looked over by his god now. To be honest, it does look pretty bland without plants, so I made a little contraption. This is my makeshift plant holder. It sticks on the back of the tank and then you shove some plants inside of it. These guys will also help with reducing the amount of nitrates in the tank. Now one of the last steps is to finally add all the water. Since the turtles like it nice and warm, I added 2 heaters to the tank. These types of turtles usually make the water go bad fast, so I got a filter to filter the water.
So I got these 2 very important lights that I don't have anywhere to mount to, so
I made a light holder. Both of these holes will hold the UVB light and the heat bulb. I also had to make sure the heat bulb was right on top of that slab. It does give off a reddish tint, which I don't really like, but it's fine.
Alright guys, to power this whole operation, I actually plugged everything into my Elite Blue Eddy power bank. The cool thing is, if my power does go out in my house, I can use this power bank to power all of my tanks. The good thing is, since I plugged everything inside of my power bank, I don't even have to worry about overloading it. This power bank is very maneuverable and very durable, so it's perfect if you want to bring it camping as well.
Since the tank is finally now complete, we can now put Taquisha in his new home. So compared to the small tiny container that I got him in, we gave him a massive upgrade to a 30-gallon fish tank. Inside this tank, he'll be able to bask in the heat, have lots of swimming room, plus a bunch of places to hide. So for a baby turtle, this should be pretty good for him.
Alright guys, here we have Taquisha. We actually don't have to acclimate him because this water he's in is the same exact temperature as his new tank. He might be traumatized from this tiny little tank, but now he's got a big boy tank. Alright guys, in he goes.
Ooh! Since I just put Taquisha in, he's gonna need about 1 day to get more comfortable. I would feed him right now, but he does look pretty stressful, so I wouldn't think that he would eat. So the thing about these street vendor turtles, most of them aren't really cared for. As you can see, they're stored inside a small enclosure, but one of the problems with this, there is no heat source, so they get super stressed out since the water is super cold. But since I bought Taquisha from a street vendor, I wouldn't expect him to have much trust in a human. So going off of that, I might have trouble feeding Taquisha. So I found out one of their favorite foods, and it was actually bloodworms. Even if it could be his favorite food, I honestly don't know if he'll eat because he still seems very stressful. But when I did come to the tank, he wasn't scared and he was hanging on to his head. Okay, I got my bloodworms ready. Taquisha is actually in a good spot right now. I'll go ahead and grab some bloodworm and see if he has any interest. I lowered the bloodworms down right in front of his face. I really didn't get any reaction, so I tried to put the worms in the water and it just got all f***ed up. So it kind of seemed to me that he wasn't really ready to eat yet, and he wasn't warmed up to me because he would get scared even if I walked into my room. But in this afternoon, I found something that gives me lots of hope.
He's basking in the sun right now. I don't want to get up because I don't want to scare him, but look at him.
Honestly, I guess this is the first step of finding out that he's comfortable. So now he knows there's a basking spot and it looks like he's trying to soak up all of that heat. And for the rest of the day, I didn't bother him one bit. So the next afternoon, I attempted to try to feed him once more. But of course, just like last time, he didn't show any interest and swam away.
Alright guys, so there is food on this rock. Maybe he'll go out and eat it, but this is very stressful.
I waited about 5 minutes and he actually came up to the pile of food.
He sees it. Ooh!
He actually got closer to it.
Oh my god, is he gonna eat it?
Then he walked right on top of it.
Bruh.
No!
Then he literally swam away. At this point, I've had very little hope, but not even 5 minutes later, this happened.
Yo, wait, bro, I literally just left my room for like 5 minutes and I think he ate the food. Look at him, he's like looking for more food or something. Oh my god, what the hell? He's investigating. Let's see if he wants some more. No!
Well, that was kind of interesting. So, I mean, maybe he'll only eat if I'm gone or something. Maybe he's not warmed up to me. I don't know. But yeah, you can definitely tell he's still kind of scared. So yeah, Taquisha's got to warm up to me, but until next time. For the next video, we are actually going to be saving an abandoned ball python. Today, I was scrolling through Facebook Marketplace and saw this. Someone posted a snake enclosure saying they don't have time to take care of him. But there are a lot of things wrong with this enclosure. Wet paper towels, a stick, and a plastic container with a hole in it. And if you know anything about snakes, this is not the type of environment you want to put them in. But for example, the tank should look a little more like this, with plants, real dirt, and trees for him to climb on. So let's go pick this thing up. Alright guys, I'm on my way to pick up the snake right now. It is about 25 minutes away. Alright guys, we're about to pull up to the house right now. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah, I think that's a ball python, right?
Yeah, pretty colors.
How long have you had it?
About a couple months ago. I tried to feed him, but he wouldn't eat anything.
Oh my god, guys, we just got a snake. Let's take a peek at him.
Oh my god.
Okay, by the looks of it, it looks like this is a ball python. They aren't venomous, but like, what the hell do we have going on here?
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man.
Inside here were wet paper towels and a water bowl, which I guess was the only good thing.
I mean, obviously this is enough for a ball python. I mean, he doesn't even look that bad. He looks fine, but like his living quarters is just not good at all.
And about 25 minutes later, I arrive home.
Okay guys, we finally made it in my room to do another check on him. Apparently these guys do not mean any harm at all, like they won't really bite you. So I'm going to try to pick him up. Oh my god, okay, he's nice.
Oh my god.
Okay, so I asked the guy if he had a name, and his name was actually Noodle. Oh my god, he feels so cool. Oh my god, he's getting close to me.
Okay, so I'm going to need to get a temporary enclosure.
This gigantic fish tank. I'm going to let Noodle rest in here until we get his main enclosure built.
But for his enclosure, I gotta go to the pet store to pick up some supplies. So I first started off with getting soil, then I found out they had these cork bark things, which I got a few of.
We just got a bunch of stuff. This cork bark is gonna look super cool inside of the enclosure.
Since he was originally living inside of that bin, I decided to throw that in the garbage. But then I went out and bought him a 30-gallon enclosure.
The first thing we need to do is clean the back wall with alcohol. You might be wondering, why did I just clean the back glass? And this is actually my special formulation. Don't ask me how long this took me to make, because this is my formulated specialization of man-made glue. Next thing we're gonna lay down on the background are these cork logs.
These cork logs will essentially just make the tank have a more realistic feel.
So we're now going to fill in all this blank space with this spray foam. This is actually pond foam, so this is not toxic at all. While the foam is still wet, I'm actually going to sprinkle a bunch of dirt on top of it so it sticks to it. What are you doing? That is for my tank. Okay guys, it's been an hour since I've laid the dirt down, but now we're gonna stand it upright and all the dirt is going to fall off.
The background was finally complete and it honestly turned out better than I expected.
Okay guys, the next thing we need to add is the dirt.
For the dirt, I made a special combination with sphagnum moss. This will help with humidity. I also added charcoal to keep the soil clean.
There's also leaves and also just some regular soil. So we're gonna go ahead and put this dirt inside the tank.
This mixture of soil is perfect for if you want to have a bioactive enclosure. But inside a ball python's enclosure, there has to be 2 hides. But each hide is different, as one is hot and the other one is just room temperature. For the hide on the cool side, I got this sphagnum moss to lay underneath it. I just imagined that the snake would love to lay on this stuff.
So for the little cave, this is actually from that old enclosure, and I'm actually going to reuse this because this is perfectly fine. So on top of the sphagnum moss, I'm gonna put this on top, and then I'm going to cover it with dirt.
So as you can see, there's a nice little opening for him to go inside of.
You guys, to make this a little bit more natural, because as you can see, you can still see this plastic. So I'm going to move some dirt out of the way, and then right here, I'm going to put a little piece of bark and then kind of cover that up. And then boom, you got yourself a little makeshift cave that doesn't look terrible.
This is one of the cork logs I had laying around. This is also something that the snake could slither into.
Go ahead and put this right here. Okay guys, using the same strategy as the one piece that we already put in here, I cut my own cave out. This will go right about there. So this is going to be the warm hide, and we're gonna go ahead and cover that up with some dirt. Also, same thing guys, I'm gonna put a piece of cork. Alright guys, it's not looking bad at all.
So now we got the warm hide on the left side and then the room temp one on the right. I had a few sticks laying around, so I put them inside of the enclosure. So the base of the tank is basically complete, but not bad so far.
I'm gonna make this enclosure bioactive, which basically means there's isopods like roly-poly and also springtails. So isopods and springtails, they need food, so I got them something. So these are actually oak leaves. I bought these on eBay, and we're basically just going to sprinkle them across the whole enclosure. Alright guys, our enclosure actually looks super sick. This is definitely one of my favorite ones I've ever made.
Adding the leaves definitely made it feel a more naturalistic feel. Right before we add the isopods and springtails, I sprayed down everything with a good little coat of water.
I have to show you guys something. I've been breeding for a long time. Take a gander. I have 2 boxes.
Oh my.
This is my springtail farm. They've been growing in this small container for about a few months, and let me tell you, they have absolutely multiplied.
Okay guys, you might be thinking, how am I going to capture these little guys? I am going to scoop them up, just like that. We will pour them out.
These springtails should multiply after some time.
And also, I have been breeding isopods as well.
I usually see them underneath this cork bark, but I think I scared them away. I then added a few of them inside. What these guys will basically do is keep the enclosure clean of any mold, uneaten food, feces, and they will also feed on decaying matter. I also added little shrubs of moss. This just makes the tank pop out a little more just because it's so green. From time to time, I'll see the isopods just exploring around. Most of the time, I see them walking around underneath the leaves. This enclosure is also a perfect little environment for them.
Guys, I have no clue what this plant is. It's just a log with plants growing out of it. If you know what this is, please let me know.
Adding these plants will also act as good cover. Eventually these will grow way bigger, but just gotta give it some time. To make the enclosure pop just a little bit more, I got this live moss. I thought the perfect spot would be right on top of this log, but I'm also hoping the snake doesn't push it off.
Alright guys, the last thing we need to add is this heating pad.
I put it underneath the tank but left a little gap because otherwise it would get too hot.
Guys, the tank is finally now complete. So we are going to get Noodle and put him inside now. Oh my god, look at... He's going to absolutely love his new enclosure.
I let him do his own thing and he started exploring around. He seemed to enjoy his tank a lot because there's a lot of nooks and crannies to hide in. So I'm gonna have to say this tank was a big upgrade from that plastic little jail cell. But the problem about Noodle right now is that he is probably starving right now.
It is the next day, and today we are going to try to feed Noodle. I really don't know if he's going to eat because the guy said he's never actually fed him before. Okay guys, we are on our way to buy our little mouse right now. I really have no clue how long it's been since he's last eaten. I'm just hoping that he will eat once we get him our food. So the size of Noodle right now, he should be eating some that are like this big, like very small. Okay guys, I made it. Alright guys, so here is our little mouse. This is the same thing I got from my previous video. Last video, I actually bought one of these to save from being eaten from a snake, but now I just bought one to feed it to the snake. Back at the house, and I'm going to go ahead and find Noodle. I have no clue where he is. Okay guys, we got him out of his enclosure.
The reason why he's going in this tank is because this is his feeding area.
Time to open the bag, and we'll put the mouse in. Yo! Mouse going in.
This had to happen, but thankfully, Noodle had a meal inside of him. You can even see it inside the snake, which kind of looks a little weird. After a little bit of time, the mouse will fully go down his whole body to digest. But all in all, I'm very happy I could get Noodle an amazing home. And for the last video is actually an update on all the animals that I've made videos on in the past. I have made a bunch of videos on animals in the past year, but what happened to every single one of them? A lot of you guys in my comments have made up rumors about what I do to them, or some of you guys want updates on previous animals. Some animals grew twice their size, which I'll make new enclosures for, and yes, I will be talking about Bob the Lobster.
Finally!
So in this video, we're going to go over every single animal, starting with our baby dragons. I've actually made 3 videos about these guys, but what happened to them? Well, in my first video, I introduced Gerald, and yes, I still do have him. I've had Gerald for over a year, and he's still living with his girlfriend, Geraldina, which is actually the second baby dragon I introduced. Both of them have been living inside of this foresty enclosure, and I have been feeding them dubia roaches, which they absolutely love. But you might remember that I've made a third video about buying a third baby dragon. This one was named Geraldine, but what happened to her?
Geraldine's been living inside of here. I've been thinking about getting her a boyfriend, but let me know if you guys would like to see that video.
But I've owned these guys all for about a year. So on to the next animal, my baby turtle that I bought from a street vendor. In this video, I actually traveled to LA and found this random guy selling a bunch of animals in these tiny containers on the side of the road. But I ended up buying a baby turtle. I didn't know if he was going to make it because of his living conditions. But throughout the time I had him, I tried feeding him, but I also made him a brand new home. He had all he needed in a basking area that kept him warm. But what did I end up doing with him, because I actually do not have him anymore? Well, luckily for me, I have a local animal zoo where I bring some of my animals to. I actually ended up releasing him in this big pond where they have a lot of other turtle friends. This environment was a lot better than the one I first gave him, so now he's living a lot better. But on to the next animal, my mud shrimp. I actually made this video about a month ago, but what did I end up doing with these guys? In this video, I simulated an underground shrimp colony. They dig these weird little tunnels and they kind of seem just like ants. And yes, I do still have them. Their tank is pretty big, so I also use it as a quarantine tank. But ever since then, they've still been shrimping around. But the next animal I'm going to go over are my pet abalone. In this video, I went to the grocery store and I bought 2 abalones. These in particular were called black abalone, and they sold them to me in this little plastic container. I ended up making them a tank to live in, but at first I did not know if these guys were going to survive. I've never kept abalone ever in my life, but they were actually quite simple to take care of. I knew they loved to feed on kelp, so I bought some, and they actually ended up really enjoying it. But it's been about 7 months since I've made this video, so what did I do to them? Well, I recently made a 250-gallon outdoor saltwater pond, and here is where they are currently living. There's a lot of algae that grows on the side of the tank that they absolutely love to graze on. And fun fact, these guys actually live for 30 years or longer. Very long time. But next animal, Mr. Krabs, my pet blue crab. This guy I bought from a grocery store. They were selling them inside of this huge tub, which I bought one from. I then make him a saltwater lagoon to hopefully rehabilitate him, but it was not going so well. He actually lost a leg, and he was also not eating. I was having a lot of trouble with this guy getting him back on his feet. Then after a few days passed, I actually got him to eat. I thought all was going well until one day I walked into my room to the smell of something rotting. Mr. Krabs has passed away. He wasn't really in good condition to start with, but rest in peace, Mr. Krabs. Now on to the next animal, my pet frogfish. In this video, I bought a weird looking sponge fish and filmed all of his superpowers like hunting, camouflaging, walking, and a lot more. He was definitely one of my cooler pets, and watching him eat was actually super cool. But a few weeks after I made the video, I actually brought him to my local fish store for someone else to buy him. I like to make videos with cool creatures, but I just don't have the space to keep them, mainly because my room is pretty small, so I just give them back to the pet store or donate them to the animal zoo. Although some of the pets I decided to keep got twice as big, so at the end of the video, I'm going to make them a bigger home. So on to the next grocery store animal, a rock crab that I also named Mr. Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs was in terrible condition. He had a crack on his claw and some missing legs. This was definitely the worst situation out of all my grocery store animals. And you can even see he was barely even moving. So I brought him home from the market, set up a 50-gallon tank for him, and tried to heal him up. There would be times where he hasn't been moving that much, which had me worried, but at least I got him to get a few bites to eat, which was probably his first food in a really long time. But a few days passed, and the same thing as the blue crab, I smelled something rotting. But after all this time trying to revive him, he couldn't make it. So I went to my local canal and buried him. Although it may be tough to save them, some videos are successful. Just like my pet spot prawn shrimp that I thought died 3 times. They were definitely the most sensitive out of any other creature. But the biggest challenge I had was getting the fish guy to put them inside of water, because if they didn't have water, they would die very easily. He did say no at first, but he ended up putting water inside of the container. So I rushed him to the car where I transferred him inside of a bucket. Then I drive home, but upon arrival, I did a little check on them. They were not doing good at all. After about an hour of making sure they were okay, they actually managed to get settled in. The thing is, these guys live in super deep water, so I had no clue if this was going to work. They managed to thug it out, and I even gave them a piece of fish. So I ended up taking care of them for the next month, then I decided to release them back in the ocean. And if they get caught again, that's their fault. So I drove to where they live, and I released both of them. But the next video was the first grocery store animal I've ever saved. This one was a Dungeness crab named Benji. Everybody was trying to buy Benji, but this one got lucky. I did the usual, set up the tank and acclimate him, but in this video I had a special mission to rehabilitate Benji. Then when he was all recovered, I released him back into the ocean. Throughout this journey, it was actually very successful. He ate a lot of food until he was back to full health. He was showing a lot of signs of good health, plus he was also very active at night. So I then decided it was time to release him. I took him out into the ocean on my boat, found him a good spot, and I set him free. Now Benji better not mess this one up, or else he's going to get eaten. The next pet I made a video about was our bait shop squid. In this video, I went out to a floating bait barge to get a pet squid. These squid were going to be used as bait, but I decided to make them my pet. But let me tell you, this one was a disaster. So I drove an hour away to get them, but then had to transfer them home inside of this trash can. These squid were easily going to be one of my coolest pets I've ever had. So I set up a tank for them, but this tank was not correctly suited for them. They were pushing sand everywhere, clouding up the tank, and some even died. The first night, I lost 3/4 of the squid. It was a sad day, but the next morning was a different story. These squid seemed to be thriving. Staying packed in a group, these things were actually super sick. But there's one thing about these market squid is that they have an insanely short lifespan. Only about 6 to 8 months they get to live. The squid inside of my tank were pretty much reaching adulthood, which meant they were going to lay eggs. But to lay eggs, they must sacrifice themselves. The next day, they actually laid eggs. The remaining squid inside the tank I decided to let free, only because they kept clouding the water up, but they did leave me with the next generation of squids. I raised these squids for a few weeks until something bad happened. The time I had Mr. Krabs was the same time I had these squid eggs, but when Benji died, the water got absolutely torched, killing all of the eggs. It was very unfortunate, but there's a lot more animals we gotta talk about. The next video was about my pet dog, Ruby. In this video, I trained my dog how to clean my room, and she actually ended up doing a pretty good job. This is her now. She's also trained as a hunting dog, and also just a pet dog. But now on to the pets where you guys are most interested in. We're gonna start with Lemon, the leopard gecko. In this video, I searched around Walmart trying to find items that I can make an ecosystem out of. Looking at this video, I actually hate the enclosure that I built from him. I was also getting roasted in the comments too, but this video is now 11 months old. So where did Lemon, the leopard gecko go? After I made this video, I made him a new enclosure because it also looks like trash just sitting in my room. And yes, I still do have him. He also got way fatter and he developed new colors. Today, he's currently living inside of his little forest, but the problem with this tank is that he's gotten a little too big for it. So I decided I'm going to make him a second home right below his tank where they interconnect. This way he can decide whether he wants to go into a moist forest or a dry desert. To link the two enclosures, I made a hole where he can easily crawl through. I started by painting the background black, then I created a bridge out of clay so he can safely reach the floor. For the substrate, I mixed up some sand and dirt, but it looked pretty bland as is, so I went out and got some plants. Then after a light mist, his tank was pretty much all done. All he needed was a heat bulb and an LED light so the plants can grow. Now it's time to see if he likes his new desert. I see him switch between the environments all the time, but he loves to chill right next to the lamp on the desert side. Now on to the next animal, my pet ball python named Noodle. There's a lot of concerns in the comments about Noodle and where he is now. That video is now 4 months old, so what did I do to him? Well, first of all, there was a lot of you guys talking about his setup, and I did agree with what most people said, so I made him a bigger home shortly after the video was posted. But there's still a problem with this tank. The tank needs to be a bit longer, so he can stretch his whole entire body out. I began constructing his tank, which is approximately 4 feet long. He's also going to have his very own pond, but after a couple weeks of building, this is what we've made. After letting the tank sit for a few weeks, I put Noodle in his new home. He loves chilling on this little perch, plus he loves being in the water. I also added a waterfall feature which looks super sick. The majority of the time, Noodle loves to hang out in the water. I put in a bunch of hides for him, but most of the time he likes to chill inside of this log. Well guys, if you made it to the end, I just want to say thank you for watching these videos, and please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.